I see you. Right now, as I speak, your eyes are open in the dark. Not because you chose it, because rest would not come. You have counted the ceiling tiles. You have turned over on your side, then your back, then your side again. Nothing helped. I watch you run the same list through your mind for the 100th time. The bill, the diagnosis, the phone call you keep replaying, the words you should have said and did not. Round and round. You know the list by heart now. It knows you better than you want it to. I see the glow of your phone light up your face, then go dark again, then light up again for no reason you could name. You are not even looking for anything. You are just checking, checking, checking. Your thumb moves before your mind decides to move it. Your chest is tight, and you cannot explain why. Your shoulders are up near your ears and have been for hours. You keep telling yourself to relax, and the telling does nothing at all. I have watched you do this before, more times than you remember, and I have never once looked away. There is a fear you have not said out loud to anyone. Not your closest friend, not the person beside you, not even yourself in the mirror. I know the shape of it. I knew it before you did. I am not far off, watching the sky from a distance. I am close enough to hear your breath change when the worry tightens its grip. Here is what I need you to know before this restlessness wins another round. There is something I have been holding for you. A word, old and true, and exactly for this. I have not spoken it yet. I am saving it, not to keep it from you, to give it to you at the moment it will land the deepest. So stay with me a little longer. Do not reach for the phone again. Do not run the list one more time. Just breathe. I see the exhaustion under your eyes that no sleep has touched in weeks. I see the way you smile in the daylight and how different your face looks alone in this dark. Nobody else caught that. I did. You think you are managing this alone. You are not. Before this message ends, I will give you what I have been keeping. But first, just let me sit here with you a moment, in the middle of everything your mind will not let go of. Let me be the one thing that does not ask anything of you. I see you. Not the version you show at the door, the one with the easy laugh and the steady hands. I see the other one, the one holding a weight nobody else weighed and nobody else named. Your shoulders have been climbing toward your ears for so long you forgot they could rest anywhere else. Tight, locked, carrying a shape they were never made to hold, day after day, until holding it just became normal. I watch you press your palm against your chest sometimes, just to check if something is still there. Not a wound you can point to, not an ache with a proper name. Something quieter than that, and harder to fight because no one can see it. You open your hands over your heart and press down gently, hoping to feel anything besides the weight. Hoping for warmth, hoping for some sign that you are not as hollow as you feel underneath the noise of your own day. Most times you find only more weight, and you let your hands fall again. I know that motion. I have watched you do it more times than you have counted, in more rooms than you remember, when no one else was looking. This is not weakness. Write that down somewhere, you will see it again. This is not weakness. It is the kind of tired that sleep does not touch. The kind that sits deep in the bones long after the argument is over, long after the deadline has passed, long after everyone else has gone back to their ordinary, and you are still standing in the wreckage, wondering when you get to put the weight down. You smile through the room. You answer when your name is called. You show up again and again, even when showing up cost you more than anyone around you will ever guess. Underneath all of that, something in you has been quietly asking whether it is even worth it anymore to keep fighting for the thing you have been fighting for. I heard that question, even the part of it you were ashamed to ask out loud. I will not explain why you feel this way. I am not handing you 5 reasons and a formula to fix it before anyone notices you were struggling. I am simply going to say the true thing. I see the tiredness. I know its exact weight, I know how long you have carried it without setting it down, not even once, not even for a moment. Your hope has grown quiet lately, not gone, quiet. There is a difference, and I know which one this is. You still show up to your life. You still open your eyes and get your feet on the floor and do the next necessary thing, even when your chest feels like a room with the furniture rearranged, familiar shapes that suddenly feel wrong to walk through. That is not nothing. That is not nothing at all. I know the specific ache behind your ribs that has no proper name. I know the sigh you let out when you think no one else can hear it. I have counted every one of those sighs, and I have never once dismissed a single one as small. Put your hand back on your chest. Feel the rise, feel the fall. That breath is mine, given fresh to you again in this very moment, and it did not run out on you. Neither will I. You are not asking to feel nothing. You are asking to feel less alone in the middle of everything you are carrying. That is a fair thing to ask. I am not withholding it from you. I am closer than the weight is heavy. There is still something I have been holding back, saving for you before these words are finished. A word older than this exhaustion, strong enough to reach beneath it, all the way down to the place where you almost gave up. I have not said it yet. I am not finished with you. Stay a little longer with me. Let your shoulders drop, even just an inch. Let your hands rest open on your chest, palms soft, instead of pressed shut against the ache like a door you are holding closed by yourself. There is no need to perform strength here. Not with me. Never with me. I see the discouragement that almost talked you out of fighting for this. I felt it circle you, quiet and patient, whispering that you should stop caring, stop hoping, stop trying to hold the shape of your own life together with hands that are already tired. You did not fully listen to it. You are still here, still reading these words, still letting them in, even though looking away would have been so much easier. That is not small. That is not small at all. I have seen what it cost you to keep going when nothing around you seems to be moving. I have seen the nights that felt longer than they should have, and the mornings that asked more of you than they gave back. None of it went unseen. None of it went unweighed by me. It feels like you must carry this alone because no one else offered to hold even a corner of it with you. I am offering now, quietly, without asking you to explain a single detail, without asking you to perform anything for me first. Let your breath slow down. Let your jaw come loose. Feel your shoulders drop just an inch, enough to remember they were never built to hold this shape for so long. There is a hush that falls over a room when the struggle pauses for a moment. Not because the trouble has ended, but because a hand finally stopped gripping it so tightly, if only for a breath. That hush is here now, waiting for you to let it in, instead of fighting past it, toward whatever comes next. You do not need the whole answer yet. You do not need a plan mapped out before you are allowed to rest. Rest is not something you earn after everything is fixed. It is the ground under your feet, while the fixing happens somewhere you cannot see it yet. Somewhere I'm already working. So rest here a moment. Let the list go quiet. Let the phone stay dark. Let the weight settle instead of climb higher on your chest. Your hands can open instead of pressing shut against the ache. Your chest can rise without bracing for the next blow. Nothing is required of you in this small, held space except one breath, and then another, and then one more after that. I know you were taught somewhere along the way that stillness means giving up. It does not. Sometimes stillness is the bravest thing a tired body can do. So be it. Rest there a moment. I am not finished with you. There is still a word I am holding, saved for exactly this ache, exactly this hour of your life. But right now, before I say another thing, simply stay. Unhurried, unhidden, held in a way no list and no light on a screen can ever hold you. Just breathe. But there is something I still need to say to you. You have a complaint you have not said out loud, not fully, not even to yourself in plain words. It sounds something like this. Everyone else seems to be moving. Everyone else got the door, the answer, the breakthrough, while you are still standing in the same spot, checking the same list, waiting on the same silence. You watch their lives from a distance and wonder what you did wrong to be left behind. I will not scold you for that thought. It is human. Almost everyone who has ever waited on me has thought it at least once, usually more than once, usually on the hardest nights. But I need to correct something gently before it hardens into a belief you carry the rest of your life. You are comparing your middle to someone else's harvest, and no comparison built like that has ever once told the truth. You see their field already full, already gold in the light, already gathered into baskets people are praising them for. You do not see the seasons before that, the years they also lay awake, also counted ceiling tiles, also pressed a hand to their chest wondering if anything was even growing under all that waiting. You only see the part they get to show. I see the whole of it, theirs and yours, and I am telling you plainly, your field is not empty. It only looks that way from where you are standing, which is too close to the ground to see what is already growing beneath it. Instead of comparing, try this. Count. Not the things still missing. Count the things that already happened and slipped past unnoticed because you were too busy watching someone else's basket fill. Count the morning you did not expect to wake up feeling anything but dread, and something lighter moved through you instead, and you almost missed it because it did not announce itself. Count the stranger's sentence that landed exactly where your wound was, though the stranger had no way of knowing. Count the door that quietly closed before you walked into something that would have cost you far more than the disappointment of it closing. You called that one a loss. I called it a mercy with bad timing. Count the small mended thing you barely noticed mending. The conversation that softened when it should have broken. The bill that came in lower than the fear told you it would. The single hour of unexplainable peace in the middle of a week that gave you every reason to fall apart. Small, unclaimed, real. You have been keeping score of what has not arrived yet, and forgetting to keep any record at all of what has already come and gone. Quiet as breath, easy to miss if you are not looking. I have not forgotten a single one of them. I do not forget blessings just because you did not notice them arrive. Think of a field in the weeks before anyone can see a single stalk above the ground. Walk that field, and it looks like nothing. Dirt, silence, no proof of anything. But underneath, where no eye can reach, the seed has already split open. Roots are already spreading, drinking, reaching for water in directions no one above the ground could ever guess. The fruit that will one day feed a whole table is already deciding its shape down there in the dark, long before a single green shoot breaks the surface and gives anyone permission to believe it was real all along. Nobody praises a field before the harvest shows. Nobody stops to admire the dirt. But I do. I watch the roots. I know the exact moment the seed gives way. I am not waiting for the harvest to know that something is happening in you right now as I speak, that no eye but mine can measure yet. You are not behind. You are underground. Those are not the same thing, no matter how identical they feel from where you are standing. The ones you compare yourself to were also underground once, in a season nobody clapped for, in a silence that felt endless while it lasted. You just did not see that part. You only saw the harvest, because harvests are the only part anyone ever gets shown. So let this correction land soft, not sharp. Stop grading your unfinished field against someone else's finished one. Stop letting a stranger's visible gold convince you that your invisible growing is failure. It is not failure, it is process. And process, by its very nature, refuses to be rushed just because comparison is impatient. The hurt of waiting is real, and I will not ask you to hide it. It does. Waiting always costs something. I'm only asking you to stop mistaking the cost of growth for the absence of it. You have already received more than you have counted. You have already grown more than you can see. The field is not empty. It was never empty. It was only quiet, doing the kind of work that never shows itself until it is finished doing it. Keep your hands open a little longer. Let the comparison go. There is still a word I have been holding back for you, and it belongs exactly here, exactly at the root of this ache. But not yet. First, I needed you to know this. You are not falling behind anyone. You are simply not finished growing yet. Here is the word I was saving, not a secret whispered only to you, not a hidden thing meant to feel special simply because it was kept from every other ear. A word already written, long before you were born, kept for this exact ache, the way a father keeps water ready for the exact hour his child finally grows too thirsty to stand. Isaiah wrote it down, but I spoke it before he ever picked up a pen. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Read that again, slower this time. They who wait, that is you. Right where you are. Still holding on, though holding on has already cost you more than you meant to spend. Shall renew their strength. Not manufacture it. Not manage it. Not squeeze one more ounce out of a body that has nothing left to give. Renew. The way a well fills again after a season of drought, without the well lifting a single finger to make the rain fall. Rise on wings like eagles. This was never about you growing stronger wings through your own effort. It is about being carried by something far stronger than the weight that has been pressing you down. Run and not be weary. Move forward without growing weary. Notice the order. Running comes first. Walking comes last. I placed it that way on purpose because I know something about you that you keep forgetting. The slow, ordinary, unremarkable days are often harder to survive than the dramatic ones. I promise strength for both. Let me show you where this picture comes from. The wings were never just poetry to me. They were a memory. There was a people once, dragged through generations of someone else's cruelty, who did not walk free on legs strong enough to carry them out. I carried them. I told them so myself, plainly, without decoration. Exodus chapter 19 verse 4 says, "You yourselves have seen what I did to Egypt and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself." Not on their own strength, on mine. An eagle does not shove its young into open sky and simply watch to see who survives the fall. It stirs the nest first, unsettles what felt safe, and then spreads its own wings beneath the trembling one, catching it mid-fall, carrying it on feathers far stronger than the fear that made it tremble. That is the exact picture given to a wilderness people who thought they had been abandoned. It is the picture I am giving you. You were never asked to grow your own wings. You were only asked to stop climbing and let yourself be caught. This is where most tired people misread the promise. They hear the promise to rise on wings like eagles and think it means try harder, push through, will yourself higher by sheer force. That is not what the verse says. An eagle does not flap constantly to stay aloft. It finds the current, the invisible rising air beneath it, and lets that current do what its own strength could never manage alone. Its wings spread wide and still, and the wind underneath does all the lifting. I am that current under you now, not your effort, mine. You have been trying to flap your way out of this exhaustion for so long that your arms are shaking, and you still have not risen an inch. Stop flapping. Spread your arms instead. Let the same wind that carried a whole nation out of bondage carry the aching thing in you, right now. Out from under this weight, you were never built to lift by yourself. Your strength was never the kind you build. It was always the kind you receive. That is the whole shape of the promise. Waiting is not surrender to despair. Waiting is positioning yourself under the wings, arms open, grip loosened, ready to be lifted instead of insisting on climbing one more exhausting inch by your own strength. You do not need new muscle. You need new altitude. And altitude for an eagle has never once come from effort. It comes from yielding to something with a far wider wingspan than its own. So take this picture with you, not as decoration for a quiet moment, as the ground under your feet, or better, the wind under your wings. The tiredness in your bones is real. I have never once denied it, but the strength coming to meet it is more real still, and it will not arrive because you finally worked hard enough to earn it. It arrives because you are still here, still waiting, still willing, even in the smallest way, to be carried instead of insisting on carrying yourself. Run when running is required of you, and you will not grow weary the way you feared. Walk when only walking is left, the long, unremarkable stretch with no one clapping, and you will not faint the way you feared either. Both promises. Not one instead of the other. Both, for the whole shape of your life, the dramatic seasons and the slow, unnoticed ones alike. You were caught before you even knew you were falling. The wings were already under you before your knees ever buckled. That is not a metaphor to admire from a distance. That is what is happening to you in this exact moment, whether you can feel the lift yet or not. Let your arms drop from around your own shoulders. Let the grip loosen. This flight was never meant to be yours alone, and no one ever asked it of you. There is a name for what you almost became. In that long stretch of open-eyed hours, you have lived more times than you can count. A name for the ones who let the list win. Quitters. People who let the weight decide the shape of the rest of their lives. You almost wore that name. You did not. Something in you kept holding on when letting go would have been so much easier to explain to everyone watching. That matters more than you know. Giving up is not who you are. I know it felt that way some nights. Like giving up was already written into you, already decided, already the family you were born into, whether you wanted it or not. It is not. You belong to a different family now. The ones who are carried. The ones who wait and are not ashamed of the waiting. That is your bloodline now, whether the world around you recognizes it or not. Look at that name again, and at the ones it tries to claim. The tired, the ones who almost stopped believing, the ones who kept checking their phones in the dark for an answer that never came. Your name was never written there. It only stood close enough to look like it belonged, and even that nearness is ending now. Here is the shape I am giving back to you instead. You know the stairs in your own house, the ones near the end of a day that asked far more of you than it gave back. Some nights those stairs feel taller than any mountain you have ever heard preached about. Your legs are heavy. Your hand grips the rail like it might be the only thing holding you up. And yet you climb them. Every single time you climb them. That climb is the eagle promise wearing house clothes. Walk and not faint. That is not a promise for dramatic mountains only. It is a promise for the ordinary staircase at the end of an ordinary day that nearly broke you and did not. It is a promise for the 5th phone call, the 3rd apology, the last ounce of patience you did not know you still had until you needed it. Small victories, unclapped for, real. You finish the day. Say that out loud if you need to. You finish the day. I was underneath every step. Think back now to the darkness where this all started, the ceiling tiles, the glowing screen, the eyes that would not close. That same darkness is still here, but look at what has changed inside it. Your eyes are open, yes, but not from dread now, from something closer to wonder. The same night, a different watching. You are not the same person who first opened your eyes into that dark. Something under the surface has already shifted, the way a field shifts weeks before anyone above ground can see it. You do not run on strength you built. You run on strength that was given. Some people cannot be talked out of hope, no matter how long the field stays quiet. That is who you are becoming. Not because your circumstances changed yet, because you stopped believing the lie that said you had to hold everything up alone. Feeling invincible is not what I'm asking of you. I am asking you to notice who is holding you. Picture the eagle again, but closer this time. Not soaring somewhere far above the clouds, distant and symbolic, but right here, wings spread wide beneath the exact fall you were most afraid of. That is not a picture for someone else's life. That is the picture over your staircase, over your unanswered messages, over the silence in the room where the hardest news landed. You were caught there, every time. Exhaustion no longer defines who you are. You belong to the sustained. Say that to yourself the next time the stairs feel too tall. Say it the next time your eyes open in the dark and the old fear tries to climb back into the same seat it used to sit in. You do not live there anymore. You visit that fear sometimes, because life still happens and nights still get long. But you do not live there. You have a new address now, and it is under my wing. Walk without fainting. Run without weariness. Not because you found a way to be stronger than you were, because you finally let go of the exhausting work of pretending you had to be. Your hands, still open on your chest, keep them there a moment longer. Feel how much lighter that grip has become since the beginning of this, not because the weight disappeared, because you stopped carrying it the way you were carrying it before. You are not who you were at the start of this dark. You are the one who was caught mid-fall and is still being carried. Something is loosening in you now that no effort of yours put there. Feel it. Right here in the middle of your chest, where the weight used to sit like a stone nobody offered to move. Something has shifted its position quietly, without asking your permission first. Breathe in, slowly. Let the air travel further than it has in weeks, past the tightness, down into the place you stopped checking on because checking hurt too much. Hold it a second. Let it go. Notice what leaves with it. This is not the breath of someone who solved everything. It is the breath of someone who finally stopped fighting the one thing that was always meant to hold them up. The air moving through you now is doing something your striving never managed. It is reaching corners of you that clenched jaws and gritted teeth never touched, softening them from the inside, one unhurried exhale at a time. Open your hands. Not to grab anything. Not this time. Open them the way a person opens their hands when they finally believe there is nothing left worth gripping so hard for. Palms up, fingers loose. Let them rest on your knees or against your chest, or simply in the air in front of you, empty. And let that emptiness be the whole point, instead of the thing you were afraid of. You have been holding so much for so long that your hands forgot what it feels like to hold nothing. Let them remember. Some kinds of surrender look like giving up from the outside and feel like coming home from the inside, and this is that kind. You are not releasing your grip because you failed to hold on. You are releasing it because something stronger than your grip has already caught what you were afraid to drop. The air around you feels different now, though nothing in the room has changed. The same walls, the same silence, the same ordinary hour it has always been. But you are breathing it in differently, and that is not a small thing. That is everything, actually, because the world does not have to change first for you to be changed inside it. The whole weight of your life was not made for you to hold alone on your own shoulders, checking each hour to see if it had shifted, bracing every morning for it to fall. That was never the plan. It was only the habit you built because no one showed you another way to stand. Here is the other way. Stand with your hands open. Let your shoulders hang instead of climb. Let your breath come slow, unhurried, the way it comes to someone who has finally stopped listening for footsteps behind them. You do not need trust to arrive fully formed in a single moment. Trust rebuilt after a long exhaustion rarely arrives in one great leap. It comes back the way feeling returns to a numb limb, in small prickles at first, uncomfortable before they are welcome, and then, gradually, whole again. Let it come back that way, slowly, without forcing the pace. Tell yourself something true, out loud if the room allows it. I do not have to carry this by myself anymore. Say it again if the first time did not reach far enough down. Some sentences need saying twice before the body believes what the mind already agreed to. Notice your own chest rising now, without the old bracing underneath it. That is not nothing. That is the beginning of a different way of living inside your own skin. You are allowed to feel lighter before anything outside you has actually changed. Lightness is not a reward you earn once the circumstances resolve. It is a gift given while the circumstances are still unresolved, proof that the weight was never truly about the circumstances in the first place. Allow your hands to remain open just a while longer. Let your breath keep finding that new, unclenched rhythm. You do not need to know how tomorrow unfolds to let today's grip loosen. You do not need the whole plan laid out before you to stop pacing the same worn path across your own mind. Confidence does not require a map. It only requires a hand stronger than yours holding the other end of the road. So walk without the map for now. Breathe without the bracing. There is no need for trust to rush back into you already whole and fearless. It can walk back slowly, the way it is walking back into you right now, one open hand, one unhurried breath, one quiet decision at a time. No pressure to arrive at total peace by the end of this, no deadline stitched onto your healing. Let it take its time. Let your hands remain empty of everything except the simple, sufficient fact that you're being held, whether you can prove it yet or not, whether the ache has fully lifted or is only beginning to loosen its hold on your chest. You are not carrying this alone. You were never carrying it alone. The weight simply forgot to tell you it had already found new shoulders to rest on, shoulders wide enough, strong enough, steady enough to hold what yours could not hold forever. Breathe once more. Keep your hands unclenched and open. Let the trust return slowly, and let slow be enough. The wind has already found you. You do not feel it push. You feel it hold. That is the whole difference between striving and being carried. One wears you thin, trying to prove itself, and the other simply asks you to stop resisting the lift that was already under you the whole time. Open your arms now, just slightly, the way wings open before they ever need to flap. No effort in that. No striving. Just space made for something wider than your own strength to move through. This is the last thing I want you to carry out of this dark hour with you. You were held before you ever asked to be. The wings were spread beneath your fall long before your knees gave out. Long before the ceiling tiles blurred into shapes you stopped counting. The wind is not something you need to earn. You only have to stop climbing. Say the word again. Quiet, if it helps it settle into bone. Renewed, not rebuilt by your own hands. Renewed the way a field turns green again after a season nobody thought would end. Feel your shoulders now, lower than they were. Feel your breath, slower than it was. That is not the dark letting go of you. That is you finally letting the wind do what your own arms could never manage alone, no matter how hard you flapped against a burden no one asked you to carry by yourself. The stairs will still be there tomorrow. The list may try to return, but you are not who answered it last time. You are the one who was caught mid-fall and never once let go of after. Under my wing is not a place you visit. It is the address you live at now. Let the quiet close soft around you, not as an ending, but as a covering. Rest here. Truly rest. Not the rest that waits for permission, but the rest that already belongs to you. You are not falling. You are flying low and slow, closer to the ground than you think, but flying still, carried on a current no tired hand ever had to build. Amen.